Hey guys, we are back on the showroom floor at the Handbuilt show. Thanks for tuning in for everybody that's at home. I am standing next to one of my favorite newest builders out in the industry, Shia. She is from the East Coast and she has Motorhouse Media. And I've been following her on Instagram longer than before I actually got to finally meet you. And it is such an honor to have you here at the show and to have more women are coming up in the building industry, and it's fantastic to have you around you. She's one of the most humble and most non-ego person that I know on the planet. Like, some of the bikes that she builds are unbelievable. So if you guys don't follow her, all right?
I appreciate that. It's very humbling to be here, especially around all these, I don't know, sculptures in my eye. It's like kinetic sculptures everywhere by artists. It's mind-blowing. It's humbling beyond words.
Yeah. No, this bike we've seen at the Michael Lichter show.
Yes.
In the Young Guns that he had at Sturgis last year as well. I just interviewed Carly Cobbs, so her bike was revealed there as well. But tell me what that whole process was, because you said you turned him down multiple times.
Oh yeah, I turned him down because I saw the roster, and it was some of the people that I've looked up to for years. People I've never met, just machines that I've admired, build designs that I've just been completely curious about, and people that I truly didn't think that I could be on the same platform of. So Michael was calling me and I was like, listen man, I can't, I'm nervous, no way. And time was going by and apparently everyone else had notice of it way ahead of time.
Right.
And it was, I think, a little bit more than 2 months before the show, and he called me and reeled me into this whole conversation about Lebanese Syrian food, because I'm Lebanese Syrian. We're talking, I'm like, why is this guy talking to me about this? And at the end of it, he's like, okay kid, this is your last chance. And I was like, you know what, fine, let's do it. So I had 60 days to build this bike. And so no sleep, just basically staying at the shop, and built this bike in 60 days for the show.
Right, 60 days.
Yeah, 60, 70 days.
Now, what was your inspiration behind this bike? Was it just an engine that you had laying around and you're like, let's use this bike, or?
Well, so I have a full-size service shop in Boston, and we obviously have, 50, 60 junk bikes lying around to cherry-pick parts off of. And I had this bike, and it was, getting invited to that show was the first opportunity for me to build a bike that wasn't for a customer.
Yeah.
Which was a whole door opening.
Okay.
So I teamed up with my buddy once I realized how tight the time frame was, and we got to build a bike in a style of our own, which was the greatest opportunity I've ever had. I've never been able to do something where I can kind of express what I view as interesting.
Sure.
And then this funny junk box came out of it.
Well, it's probably, between Stefan and I, this has to be one of our favorite bikes because It is so unique. It's not like there's a lot of BSA sitting on the showroom floor.
Yeah.
So tell us.
It's a cool one over there.
Don't get me wrong. Like, every bike here is pretty badass.
Oh yeah.
But this is a very unique build. I mean, you look at it and it's completely stylized, completely different. So let's talk about the bike. Let's talk about.
Absolutely.
Well, first and foremost, what was the hardest thing that you were up against?
The hardest thing was the time frame.
Okay.
But in a way, I feel like the time frame at the end really worked to our advantage because we were just so fired up by it. Because I didn't want to bring something that didn't run. I didn't want to bring something that was incomplete. And so even if we wanted to make a fancy bike, we wouldn't have had enough time to paint or powder or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we left all the welds exposed, and my inspiration was really just, in my head, I was like, I want to build a little ratty, like, Street Fighter boy.
Yeah.
And so I view it kind of as a character, and as just a kinetic art piece, and less like a machine for, a client, and blah, blah, blah. And I got to really get emotional with the bike. And my boy that I built it with, we had a damn blast. It was the funnest thing I've got to do. And now I'm building the kind of the partner bike to this, which will be like this bike's mother version.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that's gonna have a classy paint job?
No paint job. It'll be a similar vibe, but totally different stance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there one certain thing on this bike that you were hung up on? You're like, how am I gonna make this work?
Yeah. So I don't know what came over me, but I was really intrigued by the idea of a pull start for a bike. And I think I was intrigued because no one really does that.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why. It's dangerous, it's hard, you'll rip your arm back, you'll dislocate your shoulder, but all those challenges really motivated me. So we machined a knuckle to slip over the shaft and welded on this bolt cutter arm probably 10 days before Michael's show, before it got shipped out. And everyone I talked to, it's impossible. It's not going to work, kid. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
The first couple times it didn't work. And then when it finally fired up with a pull start, that was my highlight.
Like the fireworks went off and the angels started singing.
It was crazy. And now I know why people don't do it. It's so dangerous. It hurts to start the bike, but it was a blast. It was fun.
Okay.
So
let's go over some of these because like let's start from front to back,
Let's
let's start back to front since we are gonna.
So in the back, this is a Boston sewer drain. We're from Boston. We have to represent where we're from.
Right.
That we had cut in half and tapped into an aluminum pan that we put under here, and this is a carb bowl that we flipped upside down and put an electrical fitting to hold a tail light bulb, so you can see when you turn it on, it illuminates 180 degrees.
Cool.
The license plate is a Zildjian symbol. This is all an aluminum pan that we made. This on this side, cameras won't be able to see it, but this is an old school oiler to oil the chain, to oil the primary, because I cut open the case.
Okay.
It's chainsaw oilers.
Okay.
So when you're riding, so you don't, run with no fluid, you can pump the chainsaw oiler and oils your primary.
Cool.
This bike comes normally with one carb, and we cut a bunch of handlebars and made a dual carb manifold so we can run off 2 carbs.
Okay.
Then there's the pull start bolt cutter. The brake stay on this side is also a bolt cutter. It's just oil lines we made. The exhaust is made out of like nursing home railings and a couple like actual exhaust pipes, but CNC the triple tree. This is a 1950s train turnstile tack. Little headlight from a house lamp. They're like funny little things.
This is a perfect example of a rat bike because literally parts and pieces are pulled from anything that you could possibly put a creative mind to.
Yeah, the newest thing was the seat. I had my buddy make the seat, Wes from Counterbalance, and it came out beautiful white. And we opened it up when it got shipped to the shop, and it was so pearly white. And we're sitting there early in the morning because we're busting our tail to get it done with our coffee next to our welders and the like propane tanks and oxy. We start pouring our coffee and lighting the seat on fire so that it would match and not stand out too much. That's how the seat got its look.
Its tinge?
Yeah, we're like, it's too new. We're just pouring our coffee and burning it.
Yeah, because I can fully believe that if there was a glowing white seat on here, it would look really out of place.
Yeah, I apologized to Wes after, but he liked it. Yeah.
I think it turned out great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic build. What do you have coming up next?
So
Other than the sister bike to this?
Well, the next one is like my real big project. I have to work on customer bikes all the time. I do a lot of builds for customers that are, to their aesthetic, to their budget, to their size and style.
Okay.
But the next one that I'm doing for myself is a 57 Royal Enfield Indian that's gonna work with this. It's gonna be super low. I stretched the tail section by 6 inches. And very like aggressive, but a lower, leaner look, so that when they're next to each other, they have a contrast. So similar aesthetic, but very, very different stance. I'm excited about it. I'm taking my time on it because doing a rush bike is fun, but it also make you a little crazy.
It's really nice when there's not a deadline because then you can keep adding or modifying or changing. Whereas if you have a deadline, you're like, nope, that's got to do. We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
We don't have time to make something else.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that, but.
Super cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Motorhouse Media. Her name is Shia. She's amazing. Follow her on Instagram and all of her social medias. We're going to take off for a little bit, take a break.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank
and
you.
Thank everyone
yeah,
here.
congrats for being here.
This
is fantastic.
So
yeah. And coming up, I'll be talking to Andy about the bike that Revival built here at the show.